Alright, deadPik4chU here. And today I'm doing something different than what I usually post on my channel, but this is dealing with my gaming studio. So what you see before you are these shelves. Now what I did was get an LED strip and I ran it along the shelves to light them up. So far the effect is amazing. I really want to show it to you all here and now. And after I show how the shelves look all lit up, if you're interested in how I did this, I will go through and do a DIY sort of tutorial thing showing what it is I use and how it was I connected and set up everything. That being said, let's get on right into it and show you how these shelves look all lit up. So let me turn off the lights and get that going for you guys here and now. Alright, so this is the room all lit up at night. It's pretty cool, pretty sick. Not gonna lie, got the chair underglow, desk underglow. This whole thing started with the chair. I said basically if I could get the chair to work, it was like a prototype, and get LEDs under there and construct that, then I could do the shelves and everything else, and sort of just spiraled outward from there. And let me show you what this app is capable of. Right now I have a DIY scene that I created, but I can also get each shelf to have its own color, because the way I cut up the single LED strip in the shelf, it allowed me to have each shelf contain its own color. Let me show you with this app here. So this is the Govee app, and right there is the LED strip. As you see, I selected different colors along the strip, and it'll change the shelf that it corresponds to. So for example, that white shelf there, we're going to select that one. It's going to be on the top left right there. I selected it on the app, and I'm going to change it to blue. So let's go ahead and change that one to blue. And boom, just like that, it changed to blue. I'll change it to green. So any color I want to select. There's also a color wheel, so it's not just like primary colors. You can pick any color you like basically. So it's really awesome and neat. Change that back to white. That's pretty much it for showcasing these LED strips and what I did so far with this gaming setup. I mean, there's so much more you can do with this app. Like you can see there's a music option, there's scenes, and like I said, I had my own custom DIY setup that I had going on here. So if you ever get into these Govee strips, go ahead and play around with the app. It's very nice and fun. All the different customizations you can do. Okay, let's get on to the DIY portion of this video. So what you see right now before you is the LED strip. I made sure to hide all the bulbs. You don't want the diodes to show when you're trying to set these up. So when you put them somewhere, try to find an area where they're not visible to the naked eye, and they sort of shine onto something and disperse and spread the light. Like a flat paint wall is great. Don't use gloss or semi-gloss, because the grainy flat surface really does spread the light out far better. And I decided to show you how to cut and connect these in case you want to change the size or use a specific size somewhere and run a wire through to make it longer. So here I have a wire, just a little extra piece that I had left over, some connectors. Here's a different type of connector. This is like a 90-degree right angle sort of connector in case you want to go around a corner, because these strips are straight, so it's very hard to bend it around. And most of the time I see people use these, they don't really cut or connect them. And I personally couldn't find much resource on how to maybe run a wire through. So I decided to do this for you all in case you're wondering how to cut and connect a Govee strip, because these are really great and nice to use. First off, let's just go over how to cut the strip. I highly recommend powering it off. In fact, even disconnect it just in case, especially when you're cutting it. When you're fiddling around with the connection, it's okay to have it on, but when you're cutting it, I don't think it's okay at all to have it on. First, you want to know where you want to cut the strip. As you see, every 3 diodes, it has a place to cut. Sometimes it'll have a soldering connection, and you can't cut on the solder unless you want to like resolder or something. So if that ever happens, maybe cut like 3 off. That way, when you go over, you'll skip the solder mark. Just a little tip. So now that you got your strip powered down and you're ready to cut, find the marker where you want to cut it.
we're gonna go right here and just make a simple cut. So when you cut these strips, I find it's best to hold it close to where you're cutting so you can get like a good control over it so you don't maybe cut crooked or something. So once you line it up with where you want to cut it in your scissors, just simply cut. And there you go. That's good enough. Now, as you see, I cut it a little too short on this side, but that's okay. I've done that before and it still connects and works just fine. So let's go ahead and set these up. Now, first, since everyone shows you how to do this, I want to show you guys how to use these. So this is what I use to create long distances between the strips, because in one part of the shelf, it goes from one side all the way to the other. So I had a very long wire that I ran using this and these connectors. It's sort of like an Ethernet cable, if you will, because you put these wires into those grooves and you clip this onto the strip. So first thing, just split up the wires a bit. You can do it with your hand, it's just fine. So I'm gonna do it on both sides. So now that I have the wire ready to go, it's easy and simple. All you gotta do is put the wire through the grooves. Now it looks like you got one negative, one positive, and one ground. Not sure which is which, but you wanna make sure each wire is in one groove. So don't put two wires in the same groove. Now that you got the wires in the groove, you squeeze down to close it. I use pliers, find it to be easier. So make sure you close it till you hear a click. And then for this side, you're gonna wanna connect it onto the strip and then close it. So what I like to do is peel off the backing though first, that way you get a better connection. So go ahead and pull some of the backing off and just go ahead and place that puppy right in there. And make sure to use the pliers to get a good, nice close on it. Okay. So now that's in there, do the same for the other side. Now, to know exactly how to line these up, you're gonna wanna keep the wires on the same side that you're running it on. So the red should stay on the red, the white should stay on the white. And a good way to know is these arrows. These arrows should line up. You should not have one arrow facing the other. They should be going in the same direction. Now I got it connected. All right, the wires are lined up perfectly on the same side. We didn't cross them. And we got the arrows going the same direction, which is what you want to see. So let's put on some power and get this going. Now, as you see, it did not kick on, which is okay. This is good because now we can troubleshoot. What I noticed most often is that these connectors don't really close fully on the wire and doesn't expose the metal underneath, so it doesn't give a good connection. Now I'm gonna keep it on, it's fine as we mess around with the wires. It's just cutting it, I wouldn't recommend having it on. So you can pop this open with your hand, but I prefer using a tool because you don't wanna like bust a nail or something. It looks like it didn't get a good connection. If you can see, there's no metal showing. Well, let's try to swap this out for a different one. For all you know, it could be both of them that are bad too. So give me some time while I do this and we'll come back after I troubleshoot. All right, so I swapped out. It was actually this connector that was really bad. So I had to swap it out. It did not crimp the wire at all. But now that the wire is crimped on both sides and connected, as you see, we got power all along the strip now using a wire, which is really cool. Now I will continue and we'll do a connection with this one right here for a 90-degree connection, and I will show you guys how that one is done. Now let's connect these two using this 90-degree angle. This is great for going around corners. This is a must piece to have. Same thing, let's take the paper backing off. Okay, I got both paper backings peeled off, making sure the arrows are in the same direction. And let's get these open. I'm gonna use this tool here to pop open the lid. You're gonna pop open the lid on one side. All right, let's pop it open on the other side. You wanna pop open the lid that's closest towards the end. Okay, now that I got both of them open, you're gonna see these metal connectors. Now you want the LED strip go underneath those metal prongs. So just try your best to slide it under. Let me put this down while I go ahead and do that. I'm gonna have to push, use some force, get it nice and under those prongs. Okay, it looks like it's under there. That's pretty good. Close it up, use the pliers. All right, next one. Same thing, and it's going the same direction. As you see the arrow, if you follow the track, it follows the arrow. So even though it's a 90-degree bend, it's still going along the same path there. So just slide it under those prongs. Okay, there we go. I was about to bend it up a bit, but if you don't have to bend the prongs, don't do it. If you can slide it under there, it's fine. So let's go ahead and close this. And then we will connect and power on these strips. Oof. No go. It could be this connector that's bad. So take a good look at it, mess around with it, try to play with it, see what it is exactly. I mean, it could be the whole wiring here. I might have to rotate the wire. That could be a thing too, because this could be affecting this, because it might be crossed. So that's another thing to do. If you're using both the wire and the right corner connectors, be careful for that. You know what? I think it's the wire. So let me go ahead and troubleshoot this, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I got this to come on. So what I did was basically wiggle it around till I got the prongs to hit the sensors or the copper connections. So when you set these up, just fiddle around with them. It's okay to fiddle around with the power on. That way you know when you got a good connection going. So right here we got 190-degree, and we have one straight extended with a wire. So that's pretty much all you need to know in order to go about and create your own custom DIY setup with these LED strips in your own room. So that pretty much covers the DIY portion of this video.
All right, if you're still watching, thank you so very much for watching. And to the almost 5,000 of you out there who are subscribed to this channel, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to do any of this if it wasn't for you guys, supporting me in my channel, being subscribers. I'd probably just have like the same old setup. So you guys really push me and drive me to do things that I honestly have never done before. I never messed with like LED strips. This is the first time. So I was learning everything as I went along. So I hope maybe I helped you if you're trying to set up these Govee lights as well. So if it helps you out in any way and you haven't left that like button, or if you just enjoyed this video in general, please like this video. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so as well. Say I choose you, deadPik4chU, and join the deadPik4chU crew today. Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys.